With the release of Pokemon Legends Z-A nearby, I wondered, how hard can it be to catch a Pokemon for every single letter in the alphabet? Well, this is Arius MC, a Cobblemon server that will have you hooked for longer than the 2-week Minecraft phase. Thanks to custom biome generation, player-run gyms, every single legendary Pokemon available, and so much more that you will see in this video. Ash and I are going to spend the next 100 days on this server to complete a pretty unique challenge, the Z-A challenge. We are going to attempt to catch Pokemon from the letters A to Z, completing the entire alphabet. Not a Pokédex this time. But there are some rules. We have to catch Pokemon in alphabetical order, starting with A, ending with Z. We are allowed to catch Pokemon that doesn't start with the letter we are currently on, as long as it can evolve into a Pokemon that does. Take Growlithe and Arcanine for example. You have to evolve it before moving on to the next letter though. Catching a Pokemon will lock its entire evolution line from being caught by Ash and me, meaning if I catch a Bulbasaur for B, Ash is not allowed to, and Ivysaur and Venusaur are out of the challenge for both of us. If you end up enjoying this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. And if you want to join the server that we are playing on, be sure to check the description for details. Thank you so much to Arius MC for sponsoring today's video, and let the challenge begin. We are playing 100 days in Minecraft on a Cobblemon server.
Yeah, it's different this time. We're playing on Arius MC.
Yes, we are. It's looking pretty beautiful, especially with the Mew over. Oh, we have
the Mew is really
super cool zoom in actually.
I disabled that. I have to basic essential zoom because I didn't like that one.
This one's I'm gonna use it.
Kind of cool.
We got it. I'm gonna use it. It's free.
That's fine.
Anyway, it's weird. Can I turn it off?
Go to options.
Options.
We didn't explain what we're doing. So
no,
what we're doing
it's special.
Yeah,
it's
we're
something
playing
different.
Legends ZA.
We are playing. Okay. That's why you had to switch. Got it.
Yes, that's why I had to switch. No.
Okay.
So we're playing ZA. The ZA challenge is what we're doing.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah.
First of all, let's RTP.
Right. I did RTP as well.
Can you RTP? Where did you go? Because I don't want to be here.
Oh, I'm in a beautiful little forest.
Cool. I'm in the snowy peaks. Okay.
So there's already half of our house here. So
nice. Look at
yeah,
that. We got a door. We got a seat.
That's about it.
That's it.
Starting our journey, we immediately found a shiny Pidgey, which we are not allowed to catch because we are on the letter A and not on the letter P. Super sad. On Arius MC, there are starter kits to get you started with basic Cobblemon needs, including some tools. We had an admin provide us with a custom starter kit to suit the challenge. This kit includes some Poké Balls and potions, a Pokédex, an EXP share, a Poké Rod for fishing, and an ancient origin ball. This ball works just like a Master Ball, being an instant catch when used on a Pokemon. But our rule is we have to use this ball on the first Pokemon we catch to start us off, as we didn't have a starter Pokemon. So only when we find a Pokemon that can complete our letter A, like the Pokemon that Ash found right here.
Oh, do I do it? 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 Ah!
What did you find? An Abra?
I don't know if I want it.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Abra. It's a psychic Pokemon. It's a good start, but
what level?
It only knows teleport. What are you gonna do with it?
Oh my god, you're right.
I'm gonna leave it. You got it? Oh my god.
I got it.
You're catching it. Yeah, you got it. You got yourself
first
a Pokemon. You got yourself the first.
You got a Pokemon that was in your Poké Bingo.
Really? Okay. And a bonus challenge is that Ash and I are gonna battle every 10 days. That way we cannot rush through the challenge as our Pokemon have to be battle ready. Not long after Ash caught his letter A, I also found an Abra which I cannot catch because Ash locked the entire Abra evolution line. This server also has different kits that you can claim like every 2 days or so. These kits have all kind of neat items that will help you a lot in your adventure, and they're also one of many things that come with the different ranks that you can get on the server's website. Now we can claim all of these kits as we have the Cosmic rank, which is the highest one. But we decided for the sake of the challenge, we only claim the Cosmic one once. Thanks to those ranks, you also get access to an arsenal of commands, including a command that gives you access to your ender chest from wherever you are. Ash then used the EXP candy that he got from the Cosmic Kit to evolve his Abra. Twice.
I have finished my first letter, so I'm allowed to go on to B.
Oh, you just... Wait, what did you just do? You just traded with that guy?
Yeah, he just traded. He just helped me trade.
Oh my god. Okay, that's your first letter complete. You can now go to the B.
That's my first letter complete. And I can now finally use moves to battle, so I don't have to use XP candy. Evolve my second letter.
Insane. I am falling behind a bit as I don't have my letter A yet. But look what I found. It's a Swablu that didn't have any textures. But I caught it anyway because Ash told me I forgot to accept the server's texture pack when joining, which was exactly right, so I quickly enabled the server's texture pack manually. There we go, that looks way better. So now that Swablu is actually Swablu, I used all my EXP candy to evolve Swablu into this beautiful Altaria to complete the letter A in this challenge. Then Ash told me he already found his next Pokemon for the letter B. It's an... Huh?
I made a mistake.
Yeah, you did make a big mistake. Ampharos is an A.
Yep, hang on. I thought it was smart.
Goodbye, Flaffy.
Slash PC.
Been fun.
Oh, man. I was so smart. I was like, yes, this is smart. This wasn't smart.
This is smart.
No!
This is smart.
I was like, what are you doing,
This is smart.
bro?
Goodbye.
Oh, that's good. That's smart. Yeah, right.
While I was catching this Bouffalante, I did lock in my letter B, unlike Ash. If you aren't new to the channel, that means you might know Ryan from other videos. This time, Ryan decided to crash our video by secretly joining the server and trying to surprise us. Is that Ryan? What? Wait, Ash!
Yeah.
What?
Oh. Ryan!
I swear to God I saw Ryan on the server.
Yes, hold tab. Members, that's...
Yeah, I see him walking. Member, Zebzia.
Wait, what?
TP to me.
That's crazy.
TP accept. Walk over here. Look, he's over
Oh, yeah,
there.
right. I see
He's
him.
over there. You filth.
He's running away.
He's
No,
running
don't run away,
from us.
Ryan. He's on the flower. He's on the flower.
Screw it.
Oh, what the fuck?
Screw it. What do you think you're doing here?
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing here? Okay, we also need to maybe think about where to get
Punish.
orb
Punish.
base.
Punish.
Or what?
Useless. Another sunstone.
Say, are you gonna? I mean, maybe you can get one from a shop. Yeah, sunstone. You can buy a sunstone for $2,000.
Yeah. Where's our money?
We have $500. We're broke.
I know we can get money.
How can you get money?
I just sold 4 cobblestone for $4.
You can sell cobblestone for all hairs.
$1.
While I was getting some resources here and there, I actually found a Cleffa which can be the perfect fairy type to fill the letter C in my challenge. My exact reason to throw a ball at its face to catch it. But what I didn't think about was the way Cleffa evolves. It evolves with high friendship, which can take a pretty long time. You might remember how long it took in other Cobblemon videos. And when you catch a Pokemon for your letter, you are locked in and cannot make a switch. I think I've made it very dumb decision. Yeah.
What have you done? What have you done?
I am, however, quite lucky that Cleffa itself starts with the letter C. I can choose to move on to the next letter and leave Cleffa as Cleffa without evolving it. If I do, I am not allowed to evolve Cleffa any further, and with a battle coming up on day 10, that might not be the best idea as I need stronger Pokemon to have a chance of winning. But I also didn't want to waste a lot of time on evolving Cleffa, a tough decision to make. But when I found this Darmanitan, it made my decision actually very easy. I am moving on from C and catching Darmanitan to complete the letter D. Sorry, Cleffa, but I just do not have enough time for you. On this server, you can also do /vote, and if you follow the instructions that the server will give you, you will be rewarded with a bunch of crate keys. These keys are used to open crates, which will give you a bunch of different rewards, spanning from Poké Balls to held items, money, and even a free, shiny, or legendary Pokemon. You can do this every 24 hours, and after Ash and I opened some, we had around $25,000 and a bunch of useful items. I'd say it's definitely worth the 5 minutes. Another plus side to playing on the server is that you can find cool bases that other people have made. Where am I? What are you? You're a shiny Steelix? Whoa, dude. I found someone's sick-ass base with a shiny Steelix, shiny Cresselia. This man is rich. This man has a zoo. Whoa, that thing looks so cool. Wait, I'm gonna send you a photo. Yeah, that is the coolest war turtle I've ever seen. It's a custom skin. Like I said, it's like a zoo. You can look around. Look, over here's the turtle exhibition. After the zoo, it was really about time to find a spot for our base. Ash and I will be living together, and Ash found this mountainside that could work pretty well for a cool base. But we also need enough room to expand and make farms and other facilities around our base, so this didn't quite cut it. Then we found this awesome cave, which we can turn into a really cool base that hangs off on chains or something, but again, not easily expandable in our eyes. Also, we have access to /fly, which we will try not to overuse for the challenge, but yeah, this is another command that you can get when you have a rank. And then we found this cool forest with very beautiful trees. This place does support easy expansion wherever we want because it's a nice and flat area. The ground isn't looking very good though, as it's quite messy with a lot of different blocks, but that would just take some terraforming. And that settled it. This is our new home for this 100 days challenge. As Ash said he had a good idea for the base, he will be the one building the actual house while I do some terraforming and gather the materials. Which is a little unusual as the roles are usually reversed. And so I terraformed the day away to have a good foundation for Ash to start on the house. Arriving on a rainy and misty morning, I was still terraforming as Ash placed the first blocks for our house. Both of us taking a break from searching for Pokemon. Ash is on the letter D and I am on the letter E, but you don't have to find any Pokemon when the Pokemon finds you. As I was chopping wood for Ash, this Elekid showed up which I just couldn't pass. Elekid is the perfect letter for E, with all of its evolutions starting with the letter E. So if I wanted, I could catch this Buizel right now and evolve it into Floatzel to be done with F already. But with that battle coming up in less than 2 days, I have to evolve Elekid into Electivire before moving on. As Elekid was quite a high level when I caught it, I could evolve it into Electabuzz already. And to evolve Electabuzz, I need an Electrizer, which I didn't quite think about if it was hard to get or not. But luckily, the item was craftable, and the recipe was quite easy.
A legendary Giratina spawned nearby.
Oh, if only I got the Floatzel. If only I got the Floatzel. If I got that Buizel from before and evolved it into Floatzel, I would be on the letter G right now, making me able to at least attempt to catch Giratina. But I can't. And Ash is still on D, so he can't either. So we decided to give Giratina to another player that was on the server. But anyway, Electabuzz won't evolve himself, so I crafted an Electrizer and gave it to Electabuzz. In order to actually evolve him into Electivire, I had to trade him. And normally, the challenge doesn't allow us to have any other Pokemon than the ones that you are locked with. Not even for a second. But trading to evolve Pokemon will be the only exception. And so I asked the lovely player from before that got Giratina to help me out and trade Electabuzz with me. And thanks to Yara, I was now able to evolve Electabuzz into Electivire and complete the letter E. Onto the letter F. Actually, let me take a look what there is for F. Fearow, Farfetch, Flareon, Feraligatr, Ferret, Fluffy, Fortress, Flygon, Feebas, Floatzel, Floatzel, Finneon. And then there was a Fortress close to home, which I could catch to easily advance to G. But I had a specific Pokemon in mind for the letter F by now, so I killed Fortress and moved on. And I was gonna keep this specific Pokemon a secret, but it looks like it found me before I found it. It's a Ferroseed, and it walked up to me after I healed my team at the Pokemon Center. Ferroseed evolves into Ferrothorn, which is a great addition to my battling team later on. I already have some heavy hitters, so a more strategic Pokemon like Ferrothorn will be very useful. Alright, it was time for the first battle on day 10, and if you watched any of my videos, you know how bad I am at battling. I cannot even remember if I have ever won a battle from Ash. So here it goes. Also, in the first 5 battles of this video, the battle settings will make any participating Pokemon level 50, just before you get confused by the higher levels. I started with Bouffalant and Ash chose Blossom. Blossom started with Quiver Dance to raise its special attack, special defense, and speed stat. Bouffalant charged head-on with Revenge, which sadly didn't do much as Blossom didn't land a direct hit. Bouffalant then hit a tiny bit more using Horn Attack, but Blossom chose Violence with Petal Dance, almost wiping Bouffalant out in a single blow. After a pretty good hit with Horn Attack, Bouffalant's time was up after Blossom used another Petal Dance, leaving Blossom confused.
Ah, this was actually my counter for your Altaria.
I do not have Altaria with me, I will say.
Really? That's crazy. That's one of the Pokemons I was not expecting you to put on the bench for a battle, bro. Crazy.
I sent out Darmanitan next while Ash substituted the injured Blossom for Cradant. Darmanitan then used Fire Punch, which hit surprisingly hard despite not being very effective against the water-type Cradant. My fast monkey then landed a neat Hammer Arm, erasing Cradant from the battle. Oh no, you Cradant. Ash then brought out his Spoon Boy, Alakazam. Using Psybeam, Ash took over half of Darmanitan's HP and confused it in the progress. But despite being confused, Darmanitan still hit a pretty damaging Hammer Arm. And that again, despite being at a type disadvantage. Another Psybeam is all Darmanitan could take from Alakazam sadly, so it was time for my next Pokemon, Electivire. Ash tried Psybeam once more, taking 1/3 of Electivire's HP. Electivire then hit a pretty amazing Thunder Punch, putting an end to Ash's Alakazam. Ash then sent out his injured Blossom once more, who did recover from its confusion. Electivire then used a pretty pathetic low kick, so Blossom still stands and uses Giga Drain, taking quite some health away from Electivire and recovering quite some health on itself. Electivire then used Thunder Punch, but because of last round's Giga Drain, it didn't finish the job, although it did paralyze Blossom. Despite being paralyzed, Blossom used Giga Drain once more, this time taking out Electivire completely and healing itself a tiny bit as well. It was time to let the truth out as I send out Altaria. I lied.
Oh shit!
It was all part of the strategy.
Oh no!
It was all part of the strategy. Altaria used Pluck on Blossom, finally ending its time in battle. And Ash then sent out his last Pokemon as well, which is his Shuian Decidueye. Decidueye did almost no damage with Shadow Sneak as Altaria tried to use Sing, but it missed. But after trying again, it hit, and Decidueye fell asleep. Altaria then used Pluck, doing a great deal of damage as Decidueye continued his slumber. And after using another Pluck on Decidueye, it fainted, and I won the battle.
Oh my god, I won! Oh my god, I've won! Oh my god, I've won!
I've won a match against
That is
you.
the craziest sentence I have heard you say.
I've won
Oh my god, I have won!
I'm so happy.
Home.
Alright, let's continue on the base, but to do so, I need tools that aren't broken. Luckily, RESMC has a command that helps with that. Instead of wasting materials on new tools, you can use /repair to repair your existing tools. Super useful. And with all the wood I collected, Ash continued building, and he then started filling the building in with Deep Slate. The build ID is to have 2 identical houses that are connected to each other with this bridge. And there is also a passage directly below that bridge, which we decided to turn into a farm for Pokemon-related crops and berries. Then Ash made a roof for the house, which I didn't quite like, so I suggested the roof to look like this instead, which Ash agreed with. And then I fixed roof number 2 as well, which made the house pretty much complete apart from the windows. Ash then found an Emolga for E, so he will be on F from now on.
You know what kind of moment that is?
Okay.
It's a gritty moment. It's a gritty on that.
It's a gritty
It's
moment.
gritty on that.
Even Alakazam looked at me like, dude, you can believe this guy's my trainer.
Have you found something interesting in your inventory?
No. Whoa,
'Cause I
what's
did.
that? Oh, wow. What is this? Look at that.
What are you at?
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Hey, gamers.
Okay, yeah, let's...
Did you find something weird in your inventory?
What?
I did.
Something weird in my... What?
You have a hammer?
I have... it's called an axe. It's a spring
You have an
axe. Yeah, it does... Oh.
Does it have sharpness 20?
No. No, it has efficiency a billion. Look at this. Pop, 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 pop.
Oh my god, I have
Look
a
how
sword
quick.
with sharpness 20.
Okay, well, here's your test subject. you didn't have to crit it, too. After our new toys, we went to open more vote crates as we are on a new recording day. And I got 2 Master Balls from the crates, which is awesome enough, but Ash actually got 3 Master Balls, which is just insane. Especially if you think that getting these crate keys takes like 5 minutes and is free. I also got some extra EXP shares from the crates, and corrosive ink from before actually gave Ash and I some more EXP shares. And if that wasn't enough, he gave us a stack of Ultra Balls as well. Thanks, dude. We also found out that there are vaults, which are like chests that you always have with you. Just do /PV1 or PV2 and it opens vault 1 or 2. We have 9 total vaults, which is obviously very useful. And if you've ever played Pokemon Go, this is a Pokestop, which works exactly the same as in Pokemon Go. Only this one can give you Pokemon like this Amora that I'm actually not allowed to keep, sadly. Time to level up my Ferroseed by battling everything that I come across. And after a full day of battling, Ferroseed could evolve into Ferrothorn, which is going to be very useful in battles, I hope. Now that I'm on the G, I want a very specific Pokemon, which is actually my favorite Pokemon. I am not very original when it comes to my favorite Pokemon, so don't judge me, but I really need a Greninja. And to get a Greninja, I need to get a Froakie. And Froakie is ultra rare, just like Totodile from the 200 Days video. And just like Totodile, Froakie spawns while fishing in a swamp. So that's what I thought I did. And I say thought because I was in a jungle and I didn't even realize it. But look who showed up. It took us 1.5 hours to find you in the previous video. Are you kidding me? And then when I realized I was in a jungle, I quickly made my way over to a swamp. On this server, there's also a cool option that lets you change the color of everything you type in chat, which is really cool. And it appears that people seem to really love the color that I'm using. The fact that Froakie was ultra rare to find was really getting to me, as I cannot waste too much time fishing for him, as I might be wasting a lot of time in the challenge. And by day 20, I was still fishing for Froakie, but it was also time for something else. It's time to gather my team and get ready for the next battle against Ash. It's 1 against 0 for me, and today we are doing a 4v4 double battle. This battle will be held on a very cool looking battlefield. Let's go. I will be starting off with Altaria and Electivire, and Ash with Bellossom and Alakazam. Alakazam started the battle off with Psycho Cut on Electivire, which barely did any damage. Electivire then used Thunder Wave on Bellossom, which paralyzed it. Altaria then tried to put Alakazam to sleep using Sing, but it sadly missed. Bellossom used Quiver Dance as its first move, just like in the first battle, raising its special attack, special defense, and speed stat. Alakazam tried Psybeam on Altaria, which did some damage, but not a lot at all. Electivire, on the other hand, showed Alakazam what power really is, with a very strong Thunder Punch. Altaria landed a super effective hit on Bellossom with Pluck. Bellossom then countered Altaria perfectly with a super effective Moonblast, defeating it in one single blow. All my Pokemon are holding leftovers, so if they are damaged, they will heal very slowly throughout the battle. With Altaria gone, it was time for Darmanitan to take over. It was round 3 of the battle, and Alakazam used Recover on itself to heal quite a lot, as Darmanitan used Fire Punch on Bellossom to mark an end of its time in the battle. And with Electivire using Thunder Punch, it was also Alakazam's battle time that came to an end. Double KO in 1 round. Let's go! Ash's final Pokemon are Fletchinder and Gyarados, and his Gyarados has a special skin which I think looks really cool. Darmanitan used quite an ineffective Hammer Arm on Gyarados, but it is just a setup to ensure Electivire's Thunder Punch does the job, which it did. That leaves just Fletchinder, who is a flying type, and with Electivire being an electric type, and so super effective against Fletchinder, I think we all know how this is going to end. And Ash knew that too, as he forfeited from the battle and literally gave up. That's 2 against O, baby. For a guy who never wins at any battles, I am doing pretty well so far. But hey, there are still 7 battles to go, so let's not get ahead of myself. And I thought I was gonna go back to Froakie hunting until Corrosive Ink, the guy from before, gave me one. What an absolute legend. This guy is honestly insane. Thank you so much, dude. And I immediately evolved him into Frogadier as well. Oh my god, dude.
What did he do?
Come back, I can't take all of these.
What did he give you?
He gave me 12 XL candies. Well, thanks to Corrosive again, I can evolve Frogadier into Greninja and move on to the letter H. Okay, Ash, I kind of feel bad in a way. Well, he gave me 12 freaking XP Candy Ls.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give you at least 6.
Okay.
Because this is just... Otherwise, I'm going to be able to level things so quickly. It's not funny. Here, take half.
Thank
Hey,
you.
look at this bitch, motherfucker! Look at him, so cool!
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, look at him.
You're behind.
Oh, damn, what a mouth.
Just so you know.
Do that again.
You're behind.
Now for the upcoming battle on day 30, we wanted to do that at home. So I started on a battlefield in front of our house. Just a small one. I started with the white outline using concrete powder and then turned those into concrete with some water. Then I filled the entire thing in with sandstone to give it that battlefield look. And then added Ash's color orange and my color green to the corresponding sides of our houses. Oh, also, did you spot those mangrove trees yet? Because Ash certainly did.
Spoon?
Yes.
Why is there mangroves?
There's not. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, don't plant a mangrove near my house. I didn't. Oh my god, Spoon, the mangroves. I'm gonna murder you. Where are you?
I don't see the problem, honestly.
I'm leaving.
Anyways, it's time for the letter H, and I was thinking about Honchcrow as I didn't have a dark type yet. Finding a Murkrow wasn't all that hard. I already spotted multiple earlier in the playthrough in the swamp biome. And so I started catching one by using a quick ball. That failed, so I tried getting its health down first, but I killed it by accident. And you won't believe it, but with the second Murkrow I found, the exact same thing happened. It doesn't matter though. I did say they were really common, so let's just keep trying. I used a Dusk Ball on this one, as I didn't kill it after the quick ball failed. And it worked. To evolve Murkrow, I needed a Dusk Stone, and thanks to the server, I can just buy one in the shop with the money I got from the vote crates. And just like that, Murkrow evolved into Honchcrow, and we're on to the I for our next Pokemon. And then when I got home, Corrosive was there, and he started building? It looks like some kind of podium. It looks cool though. Alright, back to Pokemon hunting. The choices for the Pokemon starting with I are a little slim, as like half of them are from the Iron family and super rare. So to kind of skip through the letter I decided to go with a very easy to find Impidimp. Yoink! On to letter J. I thought Jumpluff would be a pretty good idea just because I would have to catch a Hoppip.
Whoa, a Hoppip!
And even though I saw a billion of them earlier, there was like none to be found on day 25. After a long search, I started on the banner Ash and I wanted above our house. The banner is gonna be a wooden sign with Z-A on it. So like I said, I first made the sign out of spruce and then started with the letter Z and added some shadows to it. And then reversed the colors for the letter A, just like in the Z-A logo kind of, but I thought it looked quite ugly. So the new idea was to continue the battlefield idea of having orange on one side of the base and green on the other. And so I made the Z orange as it was above Ash's house. And when I wanted to turn the A fully green, I realized my pickaxe was super slow. So I made use of the public Enderman farm, which you can warp to on the server, and got myself enough levels to enchant not 1, but 2 pickaxes with efficiency 4, just so I can combine them into an efficiency 5 pickaxe. That is much better. And just like that, we now have an orange Z and a green A. And when you add the hyphen between them, it looks like this. But Ash had an idea to improve it one last step, and that is to use terracotta to make the shadows look better. And it really does. And as our base was kinda dark, we decided to at least light up the battlefield. And to continue the color trend, I changed the glass color of the top houses to our corresponding colors. Green on my side and orange on the side of Ash. Oh, and then this thing spawned right next to our house. We can't catch it because no one is at the R, but it is pretty cool, I guess. On day 28, I started digging as Ash started mining. Why? Well, there are tool-specific quests that can get you a god tool for completing it. For me, I went for the god shovel by starting with quest 1 of the 10, which is to dig 1500 dirt and 1500 sand. Oh, and Ash went for the god pickaxe. He had to mine a crap ton of ores and stone. But as we arrive on day 29, we are already 1 day away again from another battle. A 5v5 single battle this time. So I started prepping for that battle, using held items and everything. And at day 30, I was fully ready. I started out with Honchkrow, and lucky for me, Ash chose his Decidueye first. One super effective wing attack was enough to get him out of the way, which immediately puts me a full round ahead of Ash. Ash then got his Mawile out, which is a fairy type, which is super effective against a dark type like Honchkrow. Even though I tried to use Nightshade on Mawile in the hopes that I can survive one round, but that was a dumb idea as Mawile obliterated Honchkrow using Play Rough. Mawile is also a steel type, so to counter that I chose Electivire next. Ash was smart to switch out his Mawile for Hippowdon, who started a Sandstorm upon entry. And as Hippowdon is a ground type, Electivire's Thunder Punch had no effect. And as Electivire only knows electric type moves and nothing else, it was time to swap to Greninja. Hippowdon used Yawn, so I didn't have long until Greninja would fall asleep. Now, as Greninja is the only one with a super effective move against Hippowdon, I didn't want to switch him out and took a small gamble with Water Pulse, which just didn't knock him out. But Ash came prepared for Greninja as Hippowdon used Thunder Fang, which is super effective and did a little more than 50% damage. Then with a little extra damage from the Sandstorm and Greninja falling asleep from that yawn earlier, it was time for my next Pokemon. But not before letting Hippowdon take Greninja out, as I didn't have any more use for him, and this way my next Pokemon will start with full health. Next up, Ferrothorn. Yes, Ferrothorn is a steel type, which doesn't go very well against Thunderfang, but Ferrothorn is also a grass type, which goes very well against a ground type like Hippowdon. And Ferrothorn is really tanky, so I'm hoping that I can take the hit. Ash then had another secret move up his sleeve as his Hippowdon used Fire Fang, which is 4 times effective against Ferrothorn, but even that is not enough to KO my tank. After surviving that, Ferrothorn used Power Whip to finally end Hippowdon's time in battle, and Ash then pulled out Alakazam. Alakazam used Confusion, which barely did anything, as Ferrothorn did quite some damage with Gyro Ball. But even Ferrothorn won't last forever, as Alakazam's Psybeam took him out. Next up is Electivire, as I've seen him overpower Alakazam once before. Alakazam did use Recover, getting himself to nearly full HP, but Electivire's Thunder Punch still took him out. Ash then started out the most electrifying battle by sending out his Luxray. Let's see who has the strongest electric type. But as my Electivire used a not very effective Thunder Punch, Luxray was holding a red card, making my Electivire swap out for Darmanitan. And Luxray then used a not so very effective Bite. As I know Darmanitan is my heavy hitter, I made it use Hammer Arm, which just didn't kill Luxray, as he then used Electric Field, making all electric type moves stronger. Luxray then used Bite, which again didn't do much, as Darmanitan finished the job with another Hammer Arm. Ash then sends out his Mawile once again. Mawile used Play Rough, which actually knocked out my Darmanitan, forcing me to use my final Pokemon, Electivire. Electivire is an electric type, Mawile is a steel type. I think we know how this is gonna go. Thunder Punch was checkmate for this battle, ending up as my 3rd win in a row. Let's go, baby! After that, I wanted to continue on those quests for the God Tools, but the admins ended up giving Ash and I all the God Tools for free to save time in the challenge. Thanks, RSMC. Look how efficient these tools are. So what we're actually digging right here is below our houses as kind of a hub. Like one room that's for both of us, and we're mainly turning into a giant storage room with some chests. As Ash was digging out the shape, I started on adding the floor already. Then after that, the shape was finished and I added all the chests, which might have been a little overkill. And adding the walls as well. We went for a nice roundish finish on both sides. And that is the base of the chest room all finished up. Now it's time to add the item frames, and obviously later we're gonna sort everything as well. But first, admins gave us 3 crate keys, one for each type of crate, and we're gonna open them all. Starting with the common crate, I got some EXP Candy L, and Ash got a really good trident with these enchants. Then onto the deluxe crate, I got a max special attack modifier, which maximizes the special attack IV from the Pokemon you use it on. For me, that was Greninja, and that while Ash got rich.
I got 100k.
You're kidding? $100,000?
100,000 yowie.
Then the last one, which was the exclusive crate, got me some more EXP Candy L, while Ash got a free random legendary Pokemon token. If the Pokemon he gets starts with the letter he is currently on, he can keep it. But Ash is on the N, and he got a Landorus, so to the bin it goes. Then it was time to start organizing those chests. It took us a while to determine how we were gonna sort those chests, but we had a pretty good idea, so we started executing it. And as we made way too many chests, we also tried to just sort very specific stuff, like the top row will consist partly of all wood types, even though we don't even have all wood types. And then we got invaded by...
Oh, Ryan, what the f?
What?
He's here!
Oh my god.
Hi, Ryan.
We were getting a long way, giving each chest its own category, and Ash gave all the chests glowing item frames for aesthetics. And as we ran out of categories to give to the remaining chests, we just started sorting all the items we had to see if we find anything new that isn't categorized yet. And we even added a nether portal down here. And that is chests well sorted. As you can see, there are some item frames still empty, but we'll fill those up later if we find anything to put in. And even though the last battle doesn't feel that long ago, in the video at least, it's almost been another 10 days, and that means that the next battle is coming up. And I made use of RESMC's Poké Builder. With the Poké Builder, you can add stats to your Pokemon using tokens you gain in crates and kits. Boosting my Pokemon's IVs and EVs will give me an advantage in battle, but you can also use the Poké Builder to change your Pokemon's level or its Pokeball, and you can even make it shiny using the Poké Builder. There is more you can do with it, so be sure to check it out when you join the server yourself. Check the link in the description for details. Alright, the team is almost ready. And as we arrived on day 40, it's battling time. Each player will use 3 Pokemon at the same time and 6 Pokemon in total. This is a 6v6 triple battle. Ash started with Luxray, Alakazam, and Gyarados, and I started with Greninja, Electivire, and Altaria. Ash immediately swapped Gyarados out for Hippowdon, I'm guessing because of Electivire. This also started a Sandstorm. Greninja holds a Quick Claw and is super fast, so it was able to start with Mat Block. This move prevents any damaging moves to hit my team in the first round. Alakazam then used Future Sight on Greninja. This attack is launched and then hits 2 turns later. Electivire then used Thunderbolt on Alakazam, taking half of its HP. Altaria then made Hippowdon sleep using Sing, and my entire team was then hit by the Sandstorm. Ash then swapped Luxray for his Hisuian Decidueye, as I tried to use Mat Block again and found out that you can only use it on the first turn that the user is out. Alakazam then almost fully healed using Recover, and Electivire immediately undid that Recover with Thunderbolt, which also paralyzed Alakazam. Altaria then used Pluck on Hippowdon, which did like nothing, and then nothing was even undone by Hippowdon's leftovers. Ash then withdrew Decidueye, returning Luxray to its original place. Greninja used Water Pulse on Hippowdon, which was super effective but just didn't finish the job. Alakazam was the first casualty of the battle after Electivire's Thunderbolt, and Altaria used Dragon Pulse on Luxray, which didn't do much damage. Alakazam's Future Sight then hit Greninja, but it had no effect. Ash chose Mawile to take the spot of Alakazam. The still sleeping Hippowdon got his ass handed by Greninja's Water Pulse, as Electivire just failed to take Mawile out with Thunderbolt. Ash's Luxray turned the battlefield into an electric terrain, making electric moves stronger, as Mawile took revenge with a very strong crunch against my Electivire. and Altaria used Dragon Pulse on Luxray, leaving it in critical condition as well. Ash chose Decidueye to take Hippowdon's place. Ash then swapped out Luxray for Gyarados as Decidueye took Electivire out with Shadow Sneak. Greninja used Water Pulse on Decidueye, which did almost nothing, and Mawile took Altaria out with Play Rough. My two next Pokemon were Ferrothorn and Darmanitan. Greninja then tried Shadow Sneak on Gyarados but did no damage, and was then hit with a red card which withdrew Greninja for Honchkrow. Darmanitan then kicked Mawile out of the battle with Fire Punch, and Gyarados used Ice Fang on Ferrothorn and barely did any damage. In fact, Ferrothorn's ability Iron Barbs damaged Gyarados for hitting it with a physical attack. And on top of that, he was also damaged by Ferrothorn's Rocky Helmet for the exact same reason. Ferrothorn then used Ingrain, which will restore health at the end of each turn in exchange for not being able to be swapped out. And then Luxray came out again, leaving Ash with his last 3 Pokemon. Darmanitan did some damage to Decidueye with Hammer Arm, and Luxray used Bite on Ferrothorn, which barely did any damage. But as it is a physical attack, it did trigger Iron Barbs and the Rocky Helmet, which ended Luxray's battle. Gyarados then did quite some damage to Honchkrow using Waterfall, and Decidueye used Triple Arrows on Ferrothorn, doing mega damage. Honchkrow used Nightshade on Decidueye, leaving it barely alive, but Ferrothorn finished the job with Gyro Ball. 1 Pokemon left, which is Gyarados. Gyarados first ended Honchkrow with Waterfall as Ferrothorn did some damage with Power Whip. But the second Power Whip in the next round decided my 4th victory in a row. As a real asshole, I decided now was a good time to make a scoreboard to humiliate Ash.
Oh my god.
Don't worry about it. And surprisingly, Ash wanted to keep the scoreboard but in the ground as a motivator for him to win the next battle. So yeah, this is our new scoreboard. I don't know if you saw in the last battle, but Ash and I were floating in the air because we couldn't see the entire battlefield otherwise. So I decided to make elevations for the trainers to stand on so we have more view over the battlefield. I think it even looks pretty good as well as that it's useful. I haven't forgotten about the challenge, don't worry. I am on the J and I'm still looking for a Hoppip to evolve it into Jumpluff. But who knew Hoppip, which is a common spawn, would be so hard to find? Ash and I did find something else, but that Pokemon started with the letter I, which I just moved off from. I'm not. It's a Cobalion. Oh,
It's an Iron Crown.
Crown. Jumpluff. No, I skipped the I. I skipped the I with Impidimp. Oh no. Oh, that would have been a pretty good catch. Time for more Hoppip hunting. You know, the common Pokemon. But look at that, I found a Jolteon, which is also a good option for the letter J. But guess what? I killed it. I am such an idiot sometimes. Day 43, and still no Hoppip. It really shouldn't be this hard to find Hoppip. I mean, I found a gazillion of them in the last video. And after wasting enough time already, I decided to try to look for a Jellicent instead, which should be the next easy Pokemon to find. And it took me literally 2 minutes to find its pre-evolved form. That is what a common spawn should be, in my opinion. I caught it immediately, and luckily it was able to evolve right away, saving me a little bit of time. Alright, next! Alright, time for the letter K, which I thought a ground type would be a pretty good idea, as I didn't have one yet. And would you look at that, a Sandile, which I can evolve into Crocodile. Crocodile is a ground and dark type, so it can take Honchkrow's place as I have Altaria as a flying type already. To save a little more time, I used XP candies to evolve Sandile into Krokorok, and Krokorok into Crocodile. And that is also the moment I found out about this cool feature where if Crocodile or its pre-evolved form move from any block onto sand, it'll submerge itself under the sand. That is just such a cool detail. And it was already time for the letter L. And for the letter L, I want to get Lycanroc as it's a Pokemon that I quite like. And I don't have a rock type yet, so it's a win-win. But as I was looking for a Rockruff to evolve, I actually found a Lycanroc. That would mean I don't need to evolve anything. But I wouldn't be Spoon if I didn't kill it by accident.
I don't think Pyroar.
No, I chose the wrong move. Don't die. Don't die. I'm starting to die. It fucking died.
Aww.
But after some more searching around, I actually found a Rockruff right behind our home. Rockruff are very common around our house, as Ash and I have seen them quite a lot already, and now I get to catch one. And after a lot of battling on day 46, and some fishing to help Ash while also leveling Rockruff, Rockruff was able to evolve, and I did so during the daytime to get daytime Lycanroc. If I did it at night, Lycanroc would have looked like this. Now on to the letter M, which is one of the 2 Pokemon I knew I was gonna catch the moment we came up with this challenge. First one was Greninja, which I already have of course, and for the M that would be Metagross. Also one of my favorite Pokemon. And I thought Beldum, Metagross pre-evolved form, spawned on the same snowy mountain Lycanroc spawned on, but after some research that appeared to be false information. Apparently he spawns over here in the Stony Peaks. Beldum has around 9% chance to spawn in the ultra rare table, which you could compare to Froakie's spawn rate. Only difference is, in Froakie's biome, there are a lot more Pokemon that spawn, and I'm hoping that's gonna save me some time as only a handful of Pokemon spawn in this biome. So I kept searching, and even at nighttime, as Beldum's spawn is not time related luckily. But I knew this was gonna be a really hard task. On day 49, I kept my eye on the minimap as I started building my team again as it's almost time for the halfway battle. This battle can determine if Ash is even able to win, battle-wise that is. If I win, that means I would have gotten 5 victories in a row, making it impossible for Ash to make a comeback as there would be 5 battles left afterwards, making the best possible outcome a 5v5, which would be a tie. Moral of the story, Ash needs 6 victories in a row, while I only need 2 victories in the upcoming 6 battles, to be the battle winner of the 100 days. Which has nothing to do with the main challenge, it's just a side challenge that we are doing to keep the main challenge more fun. Anyways, no Beldum, so let's get to battling. Alright, this is the last battle with level 50 Pokemon. It'll be a 6v6 Pokemon battle, 1 Pokemon at a time, just a plain old full battle. Ash started with Nidoking, as I started with Lycanroc. I started off with Stealth Rock, which will damage any Pokemon switching into battle, even when Lycanroc is fainted, while Nidoking used Toxic Spikes, which actually works the exact same, only this move poisons the upcoming Pokemon. Ash swapped Nidoking for Gyarados, and Lycanroc used Rock Slide, ending Gyarados immediately. Ash then sends out Mawile. Mawile used Iron Head, ending Lycanroc in a single blow, so I chose Electivire, and thanks to Toxic Spikes, he was immediately poisoned, as all my upcoming Pokemon will be. Electivire used Charge, making its upcoming Electric attack deal way more damage, while Mawile used Crunch, chipping away 1/3 of Electivire's health. Electivire then used Thunderbolt, absolutely obliterating Ash's little Steel type. Ash then chose Nidoking as his next Pokemon. Electivire tickled Nidoking with a low kick, as Electivire got smacked out of this battle with Earth Power. And then, it was tank time. Ferrothorn was next. Ash swapped Nidoking for Hishui and Decidueye, while Ferrothorn used Ingrain to heal each turn at the expense of not being able to be swapped out. Ferrothorn then tanked an amazing triple arrow which dealt insane damage. This attack also made Ferrothorn unable to move. Decidueye used Triple Arrow again, ending Ferrothorn's time in battle without taking a single hit. It was Greninja's time to shine. Hopefully. Ash quickly swapped Decidueye for Alakazam as Greninja hit a pretty good aerial ace. Greninja then used Haste, which I thought would get rid of the poison, but Haste gets rid of stat changes like attack or speed increases. I am quite dumb sometimes. Alakazam then launched a Future Sight, which we will see in 2 turns. Greninja's aerial ace just didn't take out Alakazam, as he used Recover to undo that damage. Round 13 was an exact replica of the last round. The only difference, Future Sight took its hit on Greninja. But it had no effect because Greninja is a Dark type and Future Sight is a Psychic type move. Ash threw Decidueye back in the fight as Greninja's Water Pulse didn't do that much. But Greninja's aerial ace managed to defeat Decidueye. Primarina was Ash's next Pokemon, which he nicknamed Pikachu by the way, which is very confusing. Greninja barely damaged Primarina with Shadow Sneak as Primarina ended Greninja with Disarming Voice. But I had an idea with Altaria. I made Primarina sleep with Sing, and that made Ash swap Primarina out for Alakazam as Altaria used Perish Song. This move will instantly kill any Pokemon who hears it in 3 turns time, taking out the opponent and the user. Alakazam used Future Sight, which should hit at the exact same time as Perish Song, as Altaria used Sky Attack, which needs 1 turn to charge. Alakazam's Psychic did good damage, but Altaria's Sky Attack ended Alakazam. Ash then sent out Primarina. And at the end of this round, Perish Song will hit as Altaria charged another Sky Attack, but Primarina made Altaria sleep with Sing. And just before Perish Song was supposed to hit, Alakazam's Future Sight killed Altaria, cancelling the Perish Song and leaving Primarina in battle. Darmanitan was my last Pokemon, which did do a lot of damage with Hammer Arm, but couldn't take Primarina's Hydro Pump, ending my streak of 4 victories.
Oh, I'm back in the race.
As I went back to Beldum hunting, I was thinking about giving Beldum about 3 more days to spawn, because I just cannot waste any more time than that. Will that be enough? Hear it for yourself. Beldum! Oh. Where's Clearleg? No. Oh, it's not there yet. Oh, it's just happened. Oh, thanks to Clearleg, I found myself a metal boy. Come here.
Metal.
Come here.
Metal.
Don't move. Don't move. Yes! The Pokemon that I had on me would all deal way too much damage, probably killing Beldum, so for safety I used one of my 4 Master Balls, just in case. And before I started training for its levels, it was already able to evolve into Metang, after I used some XP candy that I had left. For the training part, Ash and I started using the EV training area, which you can access by doing /warp EV training. This is meant to be used to train your Pokemon stats specifically, of course, but it is also a very nice way to fight an infinite amount of level 50 Chanseys that will give you quite a bit of XP. And it didn't take long till Metang was able to evolve into Metagross. Now for the next Pokemon, which has to start with the letter N, I had an idea to catch Ninetales, but it's Galarian form, as I don't have an Ice type or Fairy type yet, and it's quite useful against some of Ash's Pokemon. And finding a Galarian Vulpix wasn't that hard, luckily, and after some training to level it up to evolve it, I realized you actually need an Ice Stone to evolve Vulpix. So I gave it an Ice Stone, and voila! Onto the letter O. For the letter O, there weren't too many good options, nothing useful at least, so I submerged into the ocean for an easy catch. I caught this Remoraid, and evolved it into Octillery so I could move on to the next letter. But first, battle prep. Together with Ash this time, as we are doing a tag battle against 2 other trainers on the server. A tag battle is simply 2 players against 2 other players. Our opponents are Mr. Capman219, who is a gym leader on the server, and Spacey Lettuce, who is a Twitch viewer. If you want to join a stream, you can. Links are in the description. And so we began a tag battle, each with 3 Pokemon per player. Ash and I started with Nidoking and Greninja as our opponents unveiled Aggron and Dragalge. Capman swapped Dragalge for Incineroar right away as Greninja used Mad Block to stop any incoming damage attacks. Nidoking then tried Horn Attack, which sadly missed. Nidoking hit a good Earth Power though on Incineroar as Aggron used Rock Slide, hitting both of our Pokemon. Greninja used Water Pulse on Incineroar, just not knocking it out. And it even used a Citrus Berry that it was holding to heal, but that didn't stop Nidoking from taking it out with Earth Power. Aggron then used a quite heavy Iron Head on Nidoking. Florges came out to take Incineroar's place. Greninja used Aerial Ace on Florges as I thought it was part Grass type. Spoiler alert, it's not. And Ash thought the exact same thing as he used Peck on Florges. Florges used Psychic Noise on Nidoking, taking it out of the battle as Aggron did quite some damage on Greninja with Iron Tail. Ash replaced Nidoking with Shirian Decidueye. I swapped Greninja for Altaria as Florges used Calm Mind. Decidueye then used triple arrows on Aggron, but its ability is sturdy, so it will not die in one shot. It also used a berry it was holding to restore a little bit of health. Aggron then used Rock Slide, which missed on Decidueye, but did quite some damage to Altaria, and because Altaria's held item is a red card, Aggron was forced to swap out for Electivire. Which, not gonna lie, in this case was not the best situation. Electivire used Thundershock on Altaria, which surprisingly did very little damage, as Altaria used Sing to put Electivire to sleep. Florges used Moonblast on Decidueye, taking it out in one single blow, and Ash then sent out his Mawile. which then used Iron Head on Florges, dealing a good bit of damage. Altaria then used Sing on Florges, but it sadly missed, and Florges couldn't move as it flinched. Florges was then swapped out for Dragalge, as Mawile took half its HP with Iron Head, and Altaria made it sleep with Sing. Florges then was swapped back in, as Electivire decided to wake up and use Charge. Both Ash and I focused on Florges, having Mawile use Play Rough and Altaria use Moonblast, taking Florges out at last, bringing the sleeping Dragalge back out. Electivire was charged up, meaning its electric attacks will do way more damage, but its Thunder Shock didn't do that much on Altaria. And then Mawile's Iron Head took out Dragalge with a critical hit, leaving us with Electivire in this round, which Altaria put to sleep with Sing. Mawile used Crunch, which did great damage, as Altaria used Dragon Pulse, which also did pretty good damage. Electivire was then swapped out for Drifblim, which we almost knocked out in one round. Drifblim then used Destiny Bond, which will take down any Pokemon that knocks it out. So as Mawile took Drifblim out, Mawile with full health was also knocked out. Then Aggron came back out with almost no health left, which Altaria took out with Dragon Pulse. And then our opponent's last Pokemon Electivire came out, which was still sleeping, and Dragon Pulse took him out too, bringing the victory home to Ash and I. Thanks to Spacey Lettuce and Capman for this wonderful battle. Shout out to them. Back to the Z-A challenge. For P, my options didn't look too good, so I caught this Patrat to quickly move on to Q. The options for Q were quite limited, but I really wanted Quagsire, which sadly Ash already caught. So I was forced to go for Quillfish, as I otherwise had to grind for an ultra rare starter Pokemon. So now on to R, which I have something in mind for. I have Darmanitan as my fire-type Pokemon, but I wanted something else. Something with a little more diverse moveset. So Rapidash came to mind, for which I of course need a Ponyta. Ponyta is a rare spawn, which can take a little while. And after a full day of searching, I found one, caught it, and evolved it as well into Rapidash. And as I was making it battle ready, I figured it's actually not the best in the upcoming battle on day 60. That battle is a 3v3 single battle, and if I'm right about what Pokemon Ash is gonna bring to that battle, I'm better off using Electivire for now. Day 58 till day 59 was used to prep for the upcoming battle, and actually battles, as I prepped more Pokemon than I will use in this battle. And my recording stopped, which is always fun, and I found out during the battle at day 60, so here is the battle from Ash's POV. This is gonna be the first battle where the Pokemon are gonna be set to level 100. It's gonna be a 3v3 single battle, just like on day 10. Ash started with Nidoking, as I started with Greninja. Ash immediately swapped Nidoking out for Quagsire, as Greninja hit a Water Pulse, which did some damage. Greninja used Water Pulse once again, taking Quagsire's health down over half. Quagsire then used Yawn, which will make Greninja sleep in about 2 turns. Ash then switched Primarina into the fight as Greninja used Water Pulse once again, only this time it didn't do much damage at all. And because of that, it was time for Electivire as Primarina used Calm Mind. This will raise its special attack and its special defense. Primarina was then swapped out for Nidoking as Electivire used Thunderbolt, which obviously didn't do anything. I swapped Greninja back in the fight, which is still sleeping from that yawn earlier, as Nidoking used Ice Beam, which didn't do too much. As Greninja was still asleep, Nidoking used Sludge Wave, taking out my Greninja. And when I swapped Ninetales into the battle, it started to snow because of Ninetales' ability Snow Warning. Ninetales then used Auroraville, which halves damage from physical and special attacks for 5 turns. Thanks to Snow Warning, this will now last 8 turns. Nidoking then used Flamethrower, which is super effective, but because of Auroraville, Ninetales could take it. Ninetales then used Freeze Dry, which halved Nidoking's health, while Nidoking himself used another Flamethrower, getting Ninetales down very low. Ninetales then used another Freeze Dry, which ended Nidoking's time in battle, and as Ash chose Primarina to fight again, it was time for me to swap in Electivire. And as I did, Ash got Quagsire back in the battle, which meant my Thunderbolt did absolutely nothing. I tried to make Electivire use Low Kick as all my electric type moves have no effect. This did a little bit of damage, but Quagsire then used Stomping Tantrum, which ended my Electivire immediately. I then chose Ninetales back in battle as it is my last Pokemon. And thanks to Ninetales' speed, Freeze Dry hit first and enough to end Quagsire's battle. And as Ash and I were both on our last Pokemon, Ninetales used Confused Ray to confuse Primarina, making her unable to move at least this round. Then Ninetales used Freeze Dry, which did quite some damage, but not enough in my opinion, and Primarina was still unable to move because it was confused. And as Ninetales used another Freeze Dry, it was almost over for Primarina, but Primarina used Moonblast on my Ninetales, ending the battle in a victory for Ash once again. So yeah, that's 4-2 now, which clenches my butt cheeks already, because this series I felt like I was doing so much better in battles, which don't get me wrong, I really am, but it's starting to look like Ash is just getting back in his usual battling, aka beating the living shit out of me. Oh, and to suspend my tears, I made Metagross shiny using the Poké Builder. He looks so cool now. And then Catman saw that and showed off his custom Metagross, which looks insane. This skin is server exclusive, so if you want to obtain one for yourself, make sure you join. And then we found out we had cosmetics. What do you think of my hat?
What?
I'm wearing a duck.
How'd you get that?
Cosmetics, dude.
It doesn't work.
I'm wearing a duck. With a flower in its beak.
But where? How did you? What?
/ cosmetics.
Yeah, but I don't have anything there. No, what? I want the duck. Crazy. Actually, did you get that from a crate or something?
I don't know.
You got more than one.
I have a
It opens when you. What the?
I look sick.
Oh, give me one.
No, give me one. I have
Be
another
nice.
one. Look, I have a frog head.
Oh, how did you get? What the? How do you have all of these? This is nah. This is just unfair.
Our next Pokemon has to start with the letter S, and there are a lot of options, but I had no idea what Pokemon I wanted to improve my team. I checked the Pokemon I had to see if there's anything I need to replace, or if there's any typing that I miss. But then after like a day of thinking, researching, I finally knew it. I was gonna catch a Swampert, which is a water ground Pokemon, just like Quagsire, which will make up for the fact that I didn't get Quagsire. It will take time as it's another ultra rare spawn starter, but it will be worth it, trust me. But let's first claim this Pokestop that Ash found.
Go on, if you want Pokestop now, otherwise I'm leaving.
I don't... Okay, fine. I was actually gonna say no. And I was like, why the hell would I say no? Because I'm too concentrated on thinking about my next Pokemon.
Imagine you might get a Pokemon with that letter.
You have successfully claimed this Pokestop. What did I get? Uh-oh. No, this... No.
Are you on the S?
No, because you see, I click PC and then release, it's gone.
No, that's no. No, you can't do that. You have a Spinda. That's just how it goes. You can't just throw it away. That's part of the. No, you have a Spinda. Nah, I'm putting that in my video, bro.
It was never there.
You have to use the Pokemon you catch first.
I didn't catch it.
You can't just. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I got it for free.
No, you have to use that Spinda, bro. You have to use
I actually deleted it.
Yo, Archie, can you give him a Spinda again? Because he needs to use that. That's part of the challenge, bro. You can't just throw it away. That's crazy.
I was like, I finally knew which Pokemon I was going to go for, and then that stupid Spinda shows up. I actually don't have it anymore, so someone has to give it to me. Okay, so no Swampert. I am stuck with this useless Spinda. The next letter is T, and I need to get something that will do a similar job. A pseudo-legend, perhaps, to outpower Ash in the next battle. I'm gonna try to get Tyranitar, which means I need to get a Larvitar, and Larvitar conveniently spawns at the same location where Beldum did. And funny enough, it has the exact same spawn rate. And so I was running around again, looking for another ultra rare Pokemon. And again, this wasn't gonna be easy. And I knew I had to think of a plan B just in case I really can't find it. But I found a Beldum too, so it must be possible, right? Well, I'm already 2 days in, and on the 3rd day, still no Larvitar. I did find this Bagon, which is about as rare, but because of Spinda, this isn't an option anymore. Salamence would have been really cool for the S though. Walking around for hours is not exactly fun, but I was killing some time by listening to some music. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Speaking of hours that have gone by, it's been about 2 in real life and I actually managed to find another Beldum, but no Larvitar. But Mr. Catman arrived at my location with Godzilla himself to show off to me or something. Well, that is what I thought until he gifted me the level 100 King of the Monsters. Oh my god, the hunt is over, I guess. Mr. Catman, you are an absolute legend. The people on this server have been so incredibly helpful. I love them so much. And if that alone doesn't convince you to join RESMC, I don't know what will, honestly. So we arrive on the funniest day there is, and that is again 1 day before another battle. So as always, I start prepping. But today, I did some extra research too, which is why I'm AFK here. Actually, I'm using ChatGPT to help build the Pokemon that I'm gonna use. Now honestly, I already have my team set up because Ash knew if I got Tyranitar, I would be using it in the upcoming battle, so I won't use Tyranitar, and I will try to counter the fact that he thinks I will, if that makes sense. He will try to counter Tyranitar, and I'm gonna counter the counter without actually taking Tyranitar with me. Alright, it's time for the second 4v4 double battle with level 100 Pokemon this time. Starting with Greninja and Altaria on my side and Quagsire and Primarina on Ash's side, which are 2 Pokemon that I predicted Ash was gonna take with him. Quagsire started with Protect as Greninja used Mat Block to prevent any damage in the first round. And with Greninja's new ability Protein, his typing will be whatever move he used last, so for this round he is a fighting type. Mat Block gave Altaria time to put Primarina to sleep with Sing. Then I quickly swapped Greninja for Ferrothorn to deal with these water types, especially now that one is sleeping. And guess what? The second one too, thanks to Altaria. But Primarina already woke up and chose Violence, knocking Altaria out with a single Moonblast. So I got Greninja back to take Altaria's place. Ash substituted Primarina for Mawile as Greninja used a pretty pathetic Aerial Ace on it. Ferrothorn, however, took Quagsire out with a single Power Whip, taking a little bit of damage because of Quagsire's Rocky Helmet. Ash then sends Primarina back into action. Mawile used a pretty weak Sucker Punch on Ferrothorn, damaging itself because of Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet on Ferrothorn, as Greninja used a pretty okay Water Pulse back on Mawile. Primarina then hit a surprisingly hard Moonblast, even though Greninja is not a Dark type anymore. Ferrothorn then used Power Whip on Primarina and annoyingly didn't put an end to it just yet. Ash then used Protect with Primarina to save it, as Greninja died to Mawile's Sucker Punch, which is a move that always goes first. Pretty smart against the fastest Pokemon in this battle. And because Primarina used Protect, Ferrothorn's incoming Power Whip did absolutely nothing. It was time for my last Pokemon, Galarian Ninetales. Ninetales immediately used Auroraville to halve any physical attack damage done to my team for 8 turns. Thanks to Ninetales' Snow Warning ability, this move lasts longer as it's usually 5 turns. Mawile then used Iron Head against Ninetales, which would have knocked it out if it wasn't for Auroraville. Primarina used Calm Mind, boosting its special attack and special defense, as Ferrothorn didn't quite care, using Power Whip to say goodbye to Primarina. Ninetales then used Ice Beam on Nidoking, almost taking it out, as Nidoking also used Ice Beam on Ferrothorn, but that didn't do as much damage. Mawile then ended Ninetales with Iron Head as Ferrothorn used Gyro Ball, leaving it on 1% HP. You have got to be kidding me. Mawile used Sucker Punch and didn't do much damage, and thanks to Iron Barbs, ended itself, while Nidoking's Earth Power was all Ferrothorn could take, which is now the 3rd loss in a row. The standings are getting really interesting. But before that battle went down, Ash was working on something as well. He made a big glass dome that we're gonna use to let some Pokemon roam free in. Only just outside that dome, the land was a bit out of shape as Ash needed some space to make the dome. So I went out to fix that with my okay terraforming skills. And I think it looks pretty okay now. And you know I'm salty about losing a battle when it hasn't even been 30 minutes yet, as I am already starting my next team build for the day 80 battle. Starting with some held items and changing my Pokemon's moves, and I have a moveset in mind for Metagross, which includes agility, which he doesn't learn until level 72. So I started training to get him to level 72, using the EV training location again. It took quite a little while, but nothing too time consuming. I just hope it's going to be worth it on day 80. And just like that, after like 10 or 20 minutes, Metagross has learned agility. And then I used the trusty Poké Builder again to get all my IVs, EVs, natures, and abilities set right, to maximize my team's performance. And something that we cannot forget is the challenge we are doing, at which I need a Pokemon starting with the letter U. Options are limited for this one as well, but I had two main targets, either Umbreon or Ursaring. I ended up going for Ursaring as I wanted to use the evolution for the next letter, so I caught a Teddiursa, which wasn't all that hard to find. And then evolved him as well, so I could move on to the letter V. So for the V, you already know that I'm looking for an Eevee, and you should figure out that I want to get a Vaporeon. Right now, I only have Greninja as a water type, so with this I would have a nice backup, might Greninja become useless somehow. Which I doubt, but you never know. Now catching Eevee wasn't going to be as easy as I thought. I have been looking for one for over 20 minutes, and it shouldn't even be that rare. But one Minecraft day later, and there she is. I caught it after like 20 Poké Balls, and took it home to the base where I used my Water Stone to complete the letter V. And now for the W, I am catching another water type. I want a Wishcash, which is another water ground type, which will make up for Quagsire that I couldn't catch. And Swampert. Barboach spawns in the swamp biome while fishing, and it just so happened to be my very first catch as well. Time to evolve it, and bam! It's time for the last 3 Pokemon, which are not going to be easy. Now back to this dome. Good note to tell you is that the entrance of the dome is right behind the nether portal with a staircase into the dome at the end of the hallway. There has to be a place for the water types to swim around, so I started by making a pool on the side. And when the pool was dug out, I realized Pokemon like Gyarados might not have enough freedom in there. So I had the brilliant idea to use the pool I just made as an entrance to an underground swimming area as big as the floor. And then I will add glass at the staircase at the entrance so we are able to look into the swimming area as if it's an aquarium. And so I spent about 40 minutes making it ready for water. And when it was finally ready for water, it was also day 80, which meant it is time for a 5v5 single battle against Ash. The score currently sits at 4-3 for me, so if Ash wins this one, we are tied, both having won our 4 battles in a row. But I will not let that happen. I started off with Altaria and Ash with Primarina. He used Protect and I wanted to use Sing, which was now protected. Then I swapped as I didn't want Altaria to get obliterated by a Moonblast, so my dumbass swapped in Greninja, who doesn't like Moonblast just as much as Altaria. But it was time for Ferrothorn. And that is when Ash took out his secret weapon, Skellydirge. Ferrothorn used Gyro Ball, which did like nothing sadly. And then I swapped into a Tyranitar as I didn't want to lose another Pokemon to a type disadvantage. Skellydirge used Will-O-Wisp to burn Tyranitar. The burn effect will chip away a little bit of HP at the end of each round, and it will also halve my attack damage. Ash swapped to Mawile, who lowered Tyranitar's attack stat with her ability Intimidate. And as the burn effect already halved my attack stat, this Earthquake did like no damage. Mawile then used Play Rough, which is super effective, and Tyranitar used Fire Fang, which is also super effective, but now you can really see how much power Tyranitar's lost. I swapped to Metagross to save Tyranitar for later, as Mawile tried to use Iron Head to finish Tyranitar, but there was a Metagross right now, so it didn't do as much damage. And thanks to Metagross's leftovers, that HP was already restored. Ash swapped in Skellydirge to deal with my Steel type, as Metagross launched a pretty weak Bullet Punch. I then swapped in Tyranitar as Skellydirge barely tickled it, but Tyranitar is still burned, which hurts a little. Skellydirge used Hex on Tyranitar, which does double damage when the opponent is under a major status ailment, such as Burn. As Tyranitar should be super effective again with Earthquake, his attack stats are still heavily lowered. And Tyranitar then burned to death sadly, as I swapped in Altaria. Altaria then used its beautiful voice again to make Skellydirge sleep, giving me the chance to use Cotton Guard to sharply boost my defense stat. I did that twice to make sure I was prepared for any super effective moves later on. Skellydirge kept munching on his leftovers as well, healing him quite a lot when you don't hit for 3 rounds. Altaria then used Dragon Pulse on Skellydirge, which didn't do enough damage, and Altaria then was burned by Will-O-Wisp. And when I tried to put Skeledirge to sleep again, Sing decided to fail, giving Ash room to use Slack Off healing to full HP. Then Sing did hit and Skeledirge was sleeping again. Ash swapped in Primarina for the type matchup as Altaria used Moonblast, which didn't do anything special. Primarina then used Protect again, leaving this round empty. And then Altaria sunk Primarina to sleep as I swapped Altaria for Ferrothorn, just so I can use Power Whip and put an end to Primarina. If it didn't miss, that is. And then Primarina woke up, protecting itself again. Primarina tried Moonblast, which didn't do much, as I ended Primarina with a Power Whip. Ash then chose Nidoking next. I quickly swapped Metagross in when Nidoking used Ice Beam, doing very little damage. Nidoking got rid of Metagross with one single Earth Power though, as I got Ferrothorn back in action, who immediately got hit by Ice Beam, doing some serious damage as Ferrothorn used Harden to get some extra defense going. Another Ice Beam barely kept Ferrothorn alive, as Gyro Bolt didn't do as much damage as I wanted. Ferrothorn then obviously fainted due to another Ice Beam, and I was down to my last Pokemon, while Ash only lost one. Altaria was that last one, and as it's a dragon type, Nidoking's Ice Beam was enough. Ash beat my entire team while just losing Primarina in the process. It's over. The winning streak is over.
The winning streak was over 3 battles ago.
Alright, back to the aquarium. We started with filling up the entrance, as it will be 1 block higher than the rest of the swimming zone. And before that, I already filled everything up with stone slabs, as you can waterlog these to make sure there is no gap in between the ceiling and the water. But Ash rightfully said it's easier to just fill that layer in with water by using planks as a foundation and adding the slabs afterwards. Otherwise, it will take way too long to add the water to all these individual slabs. I hope it still makes sense. So after adding the water to the foundation, we added the slabs and then removed the wood to fill the entire underground swimming area with water. Okay, time to add dirt on top for the land Pokemon to walk on. And voila! And after placing a pasture block and adding the Pokemon into it, I turned off my night vision just to find out we needed more light. And after adding some light, we can now see our Pokemon swim from our base. It's day 83 and the admins have hooked us up with something new again. They gave Ash and I Poké Packs, which are like trading card booster packs, but with actual Pokemon in them, which will have 4 random Pokemon in each pack. Each pack has its own unique random pool of Pokemon, including pack exclusives. Ash and I both opened a Luxury Ball pack and a Love Ball pack, and these are some of the special Pokemon that we got from it. Don't they look super sick? We cannot use the Pokemon in the challenge at all, but we will keep them this time as it's a special gift from the admins, so we decided to let them roam free in the dome. The next Pokemon I have to catch will have to start with the letter X, and we just so happen to already have a plan for this. Well, the admins did. They gave me coords to something very far away. I arrived at a so-called temple, which I would be teleported to if I right-clicked this sign. Well, I'm supposed to, but the sign didn't work, so I needed help from Archie the admin, but he wasn't on yet. So yeah, we'll do this later, I guess. So in the meantime, I made Wishcash battle ready, as the next battle was a 6v6 triple battle. This also meant leveling it up to get the moves that I wanted. Archie came online like 30 minutes later, so he could help me get into this temple. These temples are like trials that give you rewards after completing them. And the first obstacle was an invisible maze. This maze has barrier blocks as walls, which as you can see, well, not see, they're invisible. So I had to feel the walls by walking in a direction until I couldn't proceed anymore because of the wall. The first 70% wasn't hard at all, but the last bit was where I really started struggling, as it led me right to the end, but not actually to the end. Cruel. There were a lot of dead ends in this final section, so it was really hard to remember where I've been and where I haven't. I knew what way I needed to go, as the end should be somewhere on the right side, but somehow I couldn't get to that right side. Archie eventually gave me night vision so I could see much better. Might help with remembering floor patterns. Until I eventually found an opening that didn't feel familiar at all, so I proceeded and kept going until it led me straight to the end. Phew. Next. Obstacle number 2 is a minefield. This is a field full of pressure plates with a path that runs through it, which I need to find. If I step on a mine, I get teleported back to the start. The only hint is the green block that you start on. Strategy here is to walk in a direction until you get teleported back. So over here, I walked 4 tiles and got TP'd back on number 5, which means step 1 is 4 forward. And then I did 1 step and tried to go left, which wasn't possible, so I must go right instead, which is 1, 2, 3 tiles. I kept doing this over and over again. First 4 tiles forward, then 3 tiles right, another 4 forward, 2 tiles right, 7 forward, 2 tiles left, and then 1 tile back. I wrote down every step that I found on a notepad so I couldn't forget it, but I will say, doing this will burn it into your brain so much that you don't even need the notepad. But still. All right, Ash, left or right?
Left.
Bitch.
Ah, I got you back.
I eventually found a forward path of 16 blocks, which was quite crazy, I will say. 16? Are you crazy? I will say, this is giving me those exact vibes of back in the day, Partners in Time.
Right? I told you it did feel like
1, 2, 3, 4, 2 back, 3 that way, 16 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Then we go 5. 5. 1, 2, 2. Cool. Spicing it up, huh? 4 forward, 3 left, 4 forward again, 2 left, then 7 forward, and then 2 left, 1 back, 4 right, 2 back, 3 right, 16 forward, 3 left, 5 forward, 2 right, 6 forward, 7 left, 6 forward again, 3 right, 1 forward, 1 right, and then 15 blocks forward. Boom! Made it! Next! The next thing is the one thing I might be worse at than Pokemon battles. Parkour. The parkour started off with 4 chains, with the last one being horizontal. And that was followed up by 3 conduits. Yes, all these blocks are very small, but that is pretty much the only thing making it hard because the jumps itself are quite straightforward. But then there were these barrier blocks again, which are these invisible ones from the maze before, which I immediately missed, and then I struggled with getting back where I was as I kept failing on the first conduit block. And when I finally got back to that jump, I failed again. And then again, I struggled with going back to where I was. And then finally, after 10 minutes, I made the block and the next one as well. But of course, I couldn't make the one after that. It took me another 7 minutes to make that one. The trapdoors were pretty easy, and then there were 3 ice block jumps and a soul sand jump. And then there was another ice block jump, which I sadly failed. But the good thing is, Archie made a checkpoint right there. So I am now halfway through the parkour. So now the jumps are ice, soul sand, ice, soul sand. And I think I found a shortcut to skip the first soul sand. If I jump these 2 ice blocks diagonally, I might make it. That would save me one of the most annoying jumps ever. And boom, success. And then I failed. And when I made it and jumped over to the drip leaves... What? Archie, what did I miss? Because there were barrier blocks there, so I went the wrong way, didn't I? Archie said there wasn't anything there, so I don't know what happened exactly. I think I just suck. But anyways, it's day 90, so it's battling time. After the battle, Archie will TP me back right to the checkpoint. It's time for a 6v6 triple battle, which will be the second to last battle of the video. Ash starts with Torterra, Primarina, and Nidoking, and I start with Greninja, Tyranitar, and Altaria. Greninja started with Map Block to block any incoming direct hits as Altaria missed Sing, sadly. Tyranitar damaged the entire enemy team with Earthquake, and Torterra planted the Leech Seed on Greninja to slowly chip away its HP. Earthquake usually also damaged your own team, but because of map block, it didn't. Greninja then used Extra Sensory on Primarina, but it barely did anything as Nidoking knocked Altaria out with one single Ice Beam. Tyranitar then damaged everyone including Greninja with Earthquake, taking Nidoking out. Primarina then damaged my entire team using Hyper Voice, taking Greninja out completely. Torterra Seed Bomb just wasn't enough to take Tyranitar out as well, but things are not looking very good. With Whiscash and Metagross in the battle now, Ash chose Mawile to take Nidoking's place as Primarina protected itself from any incoming attacks. Mawile then took out Tyranitar with Play Rough as Metagross got a clean hit on Torterra with Meteor Mash. Whiscash then used Earthquake, which didn't reach Torterra and Metagross, and Primarina already used Protect, so that leaves Mawile as the only one to take damage from it. And Torterra then used Leech Seed on Metagross. Ferrothorn joined the battle as Mawile missed a Sucker Punch. Metagross almost knocked out Torterra with a Meteor Mash, and Whiscash took out Primarina and Mawile with Earthquake. Ferrothorn only took very little damage from that attack. Torterra also used Earthquake, dealing a ton of damage to Metagross and a little to Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn then used Ingrain to heal itself every turn. Ash got Quagsire and Skellydirge in the battle as Metagross didn't do as much damage as planned to Torterra using Bullet Punch. Skellydirge showed how annoying he was with Torch Song as he took out my Ferrothorn. Whiscash used Aqua Tail on Skellydirge, which also didn't do as much damage as planned, as Torterra used Synthesis to heal itself. And Quagsire used Yawn on Whiscash, which will make it fall asleep in 2 turns. Meteor Mash from Metagross was again not enough to end Torterra annoyingly. Skellydirge's Torch Song was enough for Metagross though. Whiscash is the only one left and used Earthquake to tickle Ash's team or something, and Quagsire did quite some damage with Liquidation. And then, Whiscash fell asleep. Skellydirge tried Will-O-Wisp, but it failed, as Whiscash used Snore, which can only be used when a Pokemon is sleeping, but it failed. Ash then swapped Torterra's position with Skellydirge, as Quagsire used Stomping Tantrum to deal some more damage to Whiscash. I tried Snore again, but of course Whiscash woke up, so that didn't do anything, as Torterra ended the battle with Seed Bomb, and just like that, it is 4 against 5, with Ash as the leading trainer this time. Now back to the other thing that I am just as bad at, the parkour. And even though I am really bad at it, sometimes a little luck can go a long way.
Oh. Congrats.
Really? No way. Really?
Yeah, I'm not even joking.
I wasn't even paying attention. These temples are very cool and very unique feature on the Arius MC server. If you want to try one for yourself, be sure to join using the info in the description. And the award I get for completing the temple is this absolutely stunning RGB Xerneas to complete the letter X in the challenge. Ash completed a temple earlier when he was at the R, which is why he has an RGB Rayquaza, so now we both have cool Pokemon. And now that both of us have a legendary Pokemon, we can use them in our day 100 battle. Xerneas is still level 1, so I started training right away. And Ash showed me to this new training location the server has where the chance you fight are 25 levels higher than the Eevee training spot. After about 10 minutes, I also remembered I only need 2 Pokemon left to complete the challenge, which is also still a competition, may I remind you. I can win this battle by catching a Y and a Z. For Y, I want to go for Yamask because I saw a bunch of them earlier in this biome, but it appears to be a rare spawn. I decided to stick around for a while in the hopes that I will find one quickly. But after a full day, I hadn't found a Yamask yet, and Ash actually gave me a better idea as he went for this Y Pokemon.
Did you catch that Y yet?
No, actually.
I want to get this one.
Which one?
I'm not telling.
Oh, fuck. Well, I'll go for this one. We'll see.
I'm so sure we're going for the same one.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
But where do I need to go? Water.
Okay, I know which one you're going for. I'll go for the other one.
And who are you going for then?
I was gonna go for Yanma, but that one spawns near the water.
No, I'm not. What are you on about?
Actually, screw it. BRTP, I'm gonna go to water. Let's see who gets it first.
No, he's mine.
Let's see who gets it first.
And so I arrived at the swamp where Yanma should spawn. And I know Yanma spawns here because you can do /check spawns to, well, check the spawns. It's an uncommon spawn, so I hope it spawns on me before it spawns on Ash. That will lock Yanma for Ash, and you would have to go for a different Pokemon, as you know by now.
Love yourself. I got a Wooper. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll go look for something else. Oh, Yangoose!
I quickly evolved Yanma into Yanmega before I moved on to the last Pokemon of this challenge. For the letter Z, I decided to make it quick as I was not about to lose this challenge. I felt like I was gonna lose my day 100 battle, so I would at least want to win the main challenge. So to make things easy, I am looking for a Zubat now. And I actually saw one on my minimap, but this server has a feature where all wild Pokemon are cleared to make sure the server won't lag. And that just so happened to kick in right when I was moving towards Zubat. No!
What, did you kill it?
Nope.
Then what?
Nothing, actually. I hit my knee. I hit my knee. Ow.
So I had to look for a new Zubat. But let's be honest, it's Zubat. It's not rare.
He's also an electric dog Pokemon. What are you laughing at? You're clapping, you're even laughing.
Ash?
Yeah?
Hold up.
Did you finish your challenge?
I legally have to ask you to come home. It's not even a question. You have to come home. Finish my text.
I thought it was wild. No fucking way. A Zubat? You finish your fucking dex on a Zubat?
Yeah, I'm that guy. Wait, did you actually get it? Oh, it's his.
No, it's mine.
No, it's mine.
Right, cat? Trade it to me.
Trade it to me. You know why I caught a Zubat and not went for something else? I felt like if there was a Pokemon, if there was a challenge I was winning here, it wasn't gonna be the battle one. So then it'll be this one. Oh, that's sick.
The Pokemon Legend Z-A challenge on Arius MC is mine to win. From A all the way to Z. What a journey it has been. But we are not done yet. We can still tie with the battles on day 100, so time to prepare. But first, tummy ache. I had to go to the toilet for a longer period of time, and if you've seen the last video, then you know that can happen with me. And you would also know what my friends do to me when I am AFK in such situation.
I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. Diggy, diggy hole. No, 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 no. This works, this works, this works, this works.
Ash?
Yo, what up?
What did you do?
I didn't do nothing. I don't know.
Where am I?
The ground, probably.
-60?
I'm
on bedrock.
Alright, time to prepare for that battle on day 100. Xerneas still needed some EV levels and nature changes, but the Poké Builder is down in this recording session sadly, so I had to do it manually by training those EV stats at the EV Training Warp. I started with maximizing my special attack stat to annihilate Rayquaza, hopefully. And then I maxed my speed stat as Xerneas has a base 3 points higher than Rayquaza, so if I maximize my speed, I might be able to outspeed Rayquaza during the battle. So with Xerneas stats complete and battle ready, it was time for Altaria. Altaria is completely battle ready and has been in every battle, but I want to throw its stats around to maybe make more chance against Ash's Primarina. So I went full attack and full speed to hopefully keep Primarina asleep. Altaria's held item is a wide lens, which will make Sing an extra 10% more accurate, and that would mean Primarina can sleep the entire battle away, hopefully. Then Ash and I made a new scoreboard for the finale, which looked way better and a little more official in my opinion. And on top of that, we moved the podiums to in front of the houses, and we've added the referee's post as Mr. Capman will be the judge of this final battle. And then, it was time.
Alright, Ash.
Are we ready?
I'm not, but...
Ready as I'll ever be, right?
Yeah, that. Ready as I'll ever be.
Right.
Should we walk up?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Hang on, can we do that one more time? I didn't have the Pokemon select I want to start off with. 1, 2, 3. It's time for the final battle
Of the 100 days.
of the 100 days. A 6v6 one-on-one battle.
Let the day 100 battle between Ash and Spoon get underway. It's a 6v6 single battle. Ash starts with Mawile, and I start with Ferrothorn. Let's see how this final battle unfolds. Mawile's ability Intimidate took 25% of Ferrothorn's already low attack stat, as both of us are on a strategic approach, as Ash uses Stealth Rock and I used Spikes. Both moves make any incoming switches take damage upon entry. Ash swapped Mawile out for Skeledirge as Ferrothorn hit a super effective Bulldoze on him. Although, Ferrothorn is still a tank and doesn't have a very high attack stat, which has been nerfed by Mawile as well. I swapped Ferrothorn for Tyranitar as Skeledirge used Torch Tongue, which isn't very effective. But every time Ash uses that move, Skeledirge's special attack will increase, making that move stronger and stronger. Ash then swapped Mawile back in, which took Stone Edge to the face, but it wasn't very effective. And then I made a huge mistake swapping in Greninja, which I planned to do very well against Mawile using its ability Protein to swap its typing. But swapping into battle, Greninja is still a Dark type, and any incoming Fairy type move from Mawile will end it, which is exactly what happened. I am one Pokemon down already. Back to Ferrothorn versus Mawile. Well, that's what I thought, but Ash swapped in Skeledirge, of course, for his type advantage. Skeledirge took Ferrothorn's Bulldoze, which again was super effective, but Ferrothorn still has a lower to low attack stat. I then swapped to Tyranitar again as Skeledirge fully healed with Slack Off. Tyranitar's attack stat has already been lowered by Mawile's entry earlier, but even so, Stone Edge knocked Skeledirge out in one single blow. But when Ash chooses Mawile again, triggering another Intimidate, it put my Tyranitar to a total of 50% of its attack power. Alright, now back to Ferrothorn versus Mawile. Mawile used Iron Head, which didn't do much as it was intended for Tyranitar. Ash then swapped in Nidoking, as Ferrothorn used Leech Seed to take a little bit of health away from Nidoking at the end of every turn. Ferrothorn tried to use Bulldoze on Nidoking, but he protected it. Leech Seed, however, did take some health away from Nidoking. Ash then swapped in Rayquaza, who was immune to the incoming Bulldoze from Ferrothorn. I then swapped in Tyranitar as Rayquaza buffed its attack and speed stat with Dragon Dance. Rayquaza then took up my Tyranitar with Earthquake. And then it was time for a battle everyone has been waiting for. Rayquaza versus Xerneas. Rayquaza used Extreme Speed, which took a little over half of Xerneas' HP, but Xerneas used Geomancy, which boosted its special attack, special defense, and speed by 2 whole stages, which means an extra 100% more. But my dumbass forgot that Extreme Speed will always go first no matter how high your speed stat is, which marked the end of Xerneas already. But I don't give up. Metagross, you're up. Rayquaza's Earthquake barely kept Metagross alive, but that's all I needed. Metagross then used Ice Punch, which was 4 times effective and putting an end to Rayquaza. But wait, Rayquaza is holding on to 1 HP because of a Focus Sash. I then quickly swapped to Ferrothorn for 2 reasons. 1, Ferrothorn is the only one that I think can tank a good hit from Rayquaza. 2, its ability is Iron Barbs and will do damage to Rayquaza if he uses another physical attack. And Ferrothorn did tank Earthquake pretty well. And after Rayquaza used Extreme Speed in the next round, which is a physical attack, Rayquaza's time in battle was over. Ash then chose Torterra as I swapped to Altaria. Torterra used Earthquake, but Altaria is immune. Ash then swapped to Mawile as Altaria put it to sleep using Sing. Altaria then used Bulldoze once to deal some damage, and then twice to strike the finishing blow on Mawile. And then Primarina came out. I said before how I had a strategy for this specific fight between these specific Pokemon. Well, let's see how it goes. Altaria used Sing, but missed as Primarina boosted its stats with Calm Mind. Altaria then tried Sing again, and it hit this time, but Ash had Primarina equipped with a Lumberry, which removes any status condition once. Primarina then used Calm Mind again. I then tried Sing again, and this time putting Primarina to sleep for real. Altaria tried Trailblaze, which is super effective, but it did so little damage. With that happening, I quickly swapped to Ferrothorn as I knew there was a Fairy type move incoming, which it did. Primarina used Moonblast to take Ferrothorn out, which I think is because of Calm Mind that boosted Primarina's stats twice. Back to Altaria, which missed Sing right away, and Primarina used Moonblast again, obviously taking Altaria out as well. I'm left with 1 Pokemon with very little HP, and Ash still has 3. I'm counting on you, Metagross. Metagross used Thunder Punch, which is super effective against Primarina, taking it out in one single blow, leaving Ash with 2 Pokemon left, one of which is Torterra. Metagross used Ice Punch, which is 4 times effective, taking Torterra out as well, leaving both Ash and I on our last Pokemon. It's Metagross versus Nidoking, both 1 attack away from the day 100 battle victory. Metagross is queuing an Earthquake, which is super effective, and Nidoking is queuing an Earth Power, which is also super effective. But which Pokemon has the higher speed stat? That will determine the victory of this final battle.
Is this your final one?
Yes.
Okay, so we're both on our final Pokemon.
Bye.
Holy shit,
Faster?
that was... Yeah, apparently.
Damn.
Holy shit!
That was sick.
What a fucking battle, though!
That was sick. I'm not even mad I lost. That was just sick.
No, that was actually... I
was
wouldn't have been mad if I lost either.
I was one Earthquake away.
What a comeback!
It was literally who is the fastest, right?
How fast is your Metagross?
My Metagross is not even that fast, but I'm gonna find out right now. Is 133. It's the lowest stat it has.
I'm 196.
Okay.
I'm speed built, so.
Well, let's first fix this.
There we go.
And that marks the end of our adventures here on Arius MC. If you are interested in joining the server and maybe doing the Z-A challenge yourself, check the description for the IP and details. We will try to still play on the server every now and then and stream it to Twitch. If you want to see that, check the description where you will find the link to my Twitch channel. Ash and I completed the challenge and battled every 10 days, and I want to thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the video as much as we did making it, please consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe for more content like this. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for completely watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.